Hey guys, welcome back. So I've got a quick little review for you today on the new Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. So this is their newest addition to their Naked line. So this is like the smoky version of the Naked palette situation. And I've been trying this out for a while now because I really wanted to kind of try out the different colors so that I could really form a full opinion about this palette. And I do feel like I've tried it out enough that I can definitely give you an overall review on it. So what we're gonna do is, like we normally do in my palette review videos, we'll look at pricing, packaging, we'll talk about pricing, we'll look at packaging, and then I'll show you some swatches, and then I'll just give you my overall thoughts and opinions on this palette. So let's jump into it. Okay, starting with pricing and packaging. So the price of this palette is $54, so just right in line with the other Naked palettes. The packaging is absolutely adorable. This is the outside box, so it's just very like smoky looking, and you can see all the different colors on the back. I love the outside packaging. It does come with a little like sleeve inside, a little pamphlet thing, so you can get some, you know, different look ideas, which is always kind of a nice little added bonus. I never am upset when companies include this kind of stuff because, you know, it gives you inspiration and ideas, and it's just a nice little added feature to it. And then the actual palette itself is so pretty. As far as packaging on this palette, it is my favorite of any of the Naked palettes. I love this packaging. It is like a plasticky but sturdy plastic, and it looks very smoky. It's got like the raised lettering on it. You can kind of like see through the back, which is really cool, so you can see the different shadows through it. It's just beautiful packaging. I love it. It does come with a brush. I actually haven't even used the brush yet, but it's like a double-sided. It's got like a kind of a little, you know, pencil crease brush on one end, and then like a blending side on the other. So nice brush, nice quality. And then as far as what you get in this palette, this is what it looks like. So it's a really nice collection of colors. You get a lot of cool toned smoky colors in the middle here. You do have some kind of like bronzier golden shades on this end, and then you have 4 mattes down here. So it is a nice collection of colors. I think they did a good job of like picking out shades for this palette. So yeah, I mean, that's what you get in it. So now let's look at some swatches. Okay, so we're gonna start down here, which is the left side of the palette. So this one is High, Dirty Sweet, Radar, Armor. In the middle here, this is Slanted, Dagger, Black Market, Smolder. So all 4 of those have some kind of a sheen, a metallic finish to them, a shimmer, something like that. Something going on with the texture. They're not matte, so they've all got some kind of a shimmer or a metallic finish. These are the mattes over here. So this one is Password, Whiskey, Combust, and 13. So those are the mattes. They look really pretty when you swatch them, but something about when I use them on my eyes, they just seem to take more building, and they seem a little bit drier or something. Not terrible, but just more than what I've noticed in the past with Urban Decay shadows. I've always loved matte shadows from Urban Decay, and these seem a little bit different, just drier or something. But they do build up, they just take a little bit more work. These do have some fallout, but a lot of times Urban Decay shadows do, so that's not like out of the norm necessarily. And sometimes that just kind of tends to happen with darker shades. You know, you really have to be careful about fallout when you're using a black or a really dark gray or something like that. But pretty shades, they just seem a little bit different than Urban Decay shadows typically are. I don't know what it is. Like even Radar, I used that on my eyes today, and I really had to build that up. I don't know what it was about it, but I mean, looking at the swatches, they look beautiful. I just noticed on my eyes they seem a little bit different. And there are 3 repeat shades that have been in Vice palettes in the past, so I wanted to point those out to you. So Radar is a repeat from Vice 2, but this seems different to me. I loved Radar in Vice 2, and this doesn't seem the same. I actually don't like this one as much as the other one. The other one had more fallout, but this one takes a lot more building. I mean, they're both pretty, but I prefer that one, the original. And then Black Market, this is a repeat from Vice, the first Vice palette. And then Armor is a repeat from the first Vice palette. That's a really pretty shade. So just to point that out, these are, you know, 3 of those are repeats, but the rest of them are new. And oh my goodness, I feel like I have eyeshadow everywhere. So I probably have it on my forehead, my arm, I know I have it on my leg because I already got it on my leg, but I want to show you some comparison swatches between the Naked Smoky and then the Smoked palette. I don't think this is readily available anymore, but this kind of used to be their take on the smoky sort of a palette. So this is what they look like side by side. So you can see that the Naked Smoky has definitely more just neutrals, you know, like grays, silvers, those type of shades, whereas the Smoked palette kind of had a line of neutrals and then a line of colorful shades. So you had the option to do a neutral smoky eye or a colorful smoky eye, which I really liked. I get why they didn't do that in this one because it's the Naked line, it's supposed to be more neutrals, but I just loved that this had the option to do that beautiful colorful smoky eye. I mean, that blue is crazy. So I just want to show you side by side, but I don't think this is readily available anymore, so that kind of stinks. But side by side, this is what they look like. The smoky, the Naked Smoky on the top, and then the smoked on the bottom. So yeah, that's what they look like. They have the same number of mattes in it, and you know, of course, you're getting some more shades with the Naked Smoky, but the Smoked palette, they were a little bit bigger. So that's kind of how they compare, but like I said, I don't think that the Smoked palette is readily available anymore. So I just wanted to show you in case you have this palette so you can kind of see how they look side by side. But of the two, this is my favorite. I like this one better. But since this one's not really readily available anymore, we don't really have that to talk about. We need to talk about, what do we think about the Naked Smoky palette? Is this worth it? So that's where we're at. So my overall opinion on this palette is that I'm just not 100% in love with it yet. Now I will say I was like that about the Naked 3 palette. When I first got that one, I really wasn't that big of a fan of it. I really didn't even know how much I liked it. But once I kind of played with it more and found some looks that I really enjoyed with it, I started to really love that palette more. It's not my favorite from the line, but I do really enjoy that palette now. So this may be the same way for me. I may just have to keep playing with it, find some looks that I do enjoy with it so that I can kind of like fall in love with it more. But first impressions, I'm kind of like, it's sort of okay for me. Now packaging, 100% love it. It's my favorite. I love, love, love the packaging. But just every time I've used it, I'm just kind of like, about the eye looks I've created. You know what I mean? These have been a little bit harder to work with, and the looks kind of get a little bit muddy. I don't know, it just hasn't quite worked for me yet. I do like the look I created today though. I used Radar, Dirty Sweet, and then a couple of these blending shades. So I do like the look I created today. So I think I just need to kind of play around with it a little bit more to fall in love with it. But then, you know, I was thinking about other smoky palette options on the market, and I really couldn't think about one that I would recommend over this one to you. There are pretty smoky colors included in other palettes, but as far as a solely smoky eye palette, I really couldn't think about anything else. I think that this is a good option for you still. Now, I used to always recommend the Smoked palette. I love this palette. But since this is what's available now, I do think this is a good option for you because it has all those smoky colors in there for you. Just know that you may have to work with them a little bit more, and you may be like me and you may take a little bit of time to find some different combinations with the different colors in here that you really enjoy. Alright guys, so that's my overall review on the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. So I hope that you really enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful for you. Please give it a thumbs up if it was, and let me know down below. I do want to do some tutorials and some looks using this palette. Now I am going to have a collab coming up with some friends soon, so you'll get to see a look using this palette, but I want to film some for you as well. So let me know down below which colors really stand out to you that you would like me to include in a tutorial. So I'll try to look through the comments, come up with a consensus, and then do some looks for you guys using those different colors. So let me know that. Ask me any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer those. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!